The Dallas Cowboys face the Cleveland Browns week 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. It is Mr. Cowboys fan. Of course, before we proceed into the video, leave a like and subscribe. It is I, Mr. Cowboys fan, where we talk about cowboy things. So, this will be a great test. This will be a great test for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honestly, glad that the NFL is, doing it like this because I feel like having us start the season off with, like a, weak opponent. I wouldn't quite say last year, at least going into the year, I don't think that the New York Giants were truly a weak opponent going into the season. Like, I mean, we're talking about a team that was just coming off of, going to the playoffs and beating Minnesota in the playoffs before meeting Philadelphia. So I think a lot of people had high hopes in the Giants, going into the season, so I wouldn't quite say that was truly like a weak, matchup or competition. I feel like what they should have done was have us open the season against Philadelphia, if anything, but, it is what it is. So I'm glad that they're doing it like this, because I do believe that the Browns are truly going to be a tough test. They're going to be a lot of question marks on this team that will very much so have an opportunity to be answered week 1, against a really dang good team like the Browns. First of all, of course, our, number one pick, our first round draft pick in Tyler Guyton will be tested against Miles Garrett, of course, week 1. I'm looking for the Browns, with Jim Schwartz to definitely give Miles Garrett, different, looks and scheme him to go up against Tyler Guyton, like almost the whole game. So that's going to be a test for him to see what we got with Tyler Guyton that first game, first matchup against one of, if not the best pass rusher in the NFL right now. But either way, that's one to look at. I would say this Dallas defense, led now by newly acquired, not really newly acquired, Mike Zimmer, to be our defensive coordinator. Obviously, he coached us, a while back, during the, early to mid 2000s. But, either way, this will be, he's got a plan. He's been watching the game, of course, over the last couple of years, just, getting ready for whenever that, call would come, which would happen to be by us, to see what different type of tricks and stunts and different looks that he's going to have. And it starts week 1 against Cleveland, who, obviously we know that it's not really going to be the passing game that is going to be tested for our defense. No offense to Deshaun Watson, but I'm just saying, like, I think it's, I'm not losing sleep over that matchup because I think Deshaun Watson is still probably going to start the season off a little rusty, at least the first week of the season against us. But, I think where we're going to be tested in that run game. I know Nick Chubb is coming off of an injury, But for, I think, a running back, more often than not, it is a little bit easier for them to transition back. So I would say that, we're going to be tested against Nick Chubb and, that running game that they have that was either first or second in the league last year. So that's going to be one to, definitely take focus on. And then you got the offense. Dak Prescott, we talked about Guyton, but let's talk about Dak Prescott going up against this Browns defense that for basically about like most of the year last year, they were the number one defense in the land. Yeah, maybe they, they kind of bent a little bit, in the second half of the season, but for the most part, they were the best defense in the NFL. So, and you got those guys coming back. You know what Miles Garrett brings to the table. You know what Jim Schwartz as a D coordinator brings to the table. But the matchup here is obviously going to be Mike McCarthy versus Jim Schwartz. And I'm very intrigued to see how that matchup is going to go. So, of course, to close, last thing, we got some intriguing matchups that, will definitely be must see TV. Tyler Guyton versus Miles Garrett to see how Guyton is looking, from the jump. Mike Zimmer, how he looks in his first, his first coaching debut of the Cowboys for the first time in a long time, and then Mike McCarthy versus Jim Schwartz. These are the matchups, of course, that are going to be the most intriguing that everybody's going to be talking about. And, we'll just see how the battle goes. Of course, I, of course, have the Dallas winning, but, let me know how y'all feel about this. It will be in Cleveland, I believe, so it's not going to be, it's big that this game is going to be in Cleveland in an early September game rather than if it was in October, November, or December, where it would be a little bit colder, even though that might not be that big of an issue. But, we'll see how everything goes. But to all my audience and to all of Cowboys Nation, this is Mr. Cowboys Fan out.